This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of, well, Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, a province so unknown nobody knows. If aliens made it disappear, nobody would notice. That's New Brunswick. But I got a beautiful Toronto background behind us, because, well, that's my paradise. And I just got back um, this week from Frightmare in the Falls, where my guest today was present. Yes, my guest is in Texas, Austin, Texas. People know where that place is. Um, but folks, we had a Texas Chainsaw Massacre reunion at Frightmare in the Falls. And I've had the meat hook victim, Terry McMinn, has been on here a couple times. Unfortunately, she was not at Frightmare, but I have had her on here a couple times. And I've had John Dugan, aka Grandpa, on here. Ed Gwynn, the trucker at the end, and the guy we're about to talk to now, the guy driving the van and making, well, a wrong turn, you could say.
A very wrong turn, you could say, yeah.
We have Jerry himself, folks, minus the glasses. He got rid of the glasses and got rid of the curls and replaced them with gray.
Yeah. It matches,
Folks,
right? It matches my personality, bright gray.
folks, I give you the awesome Alan Danziger. How do you do, Alan?
I'm doing great, having the time of my life, actually. And I just got back, as you say, from that a terrific time in Niagara Falls and meeting fans from Canada, which was really a treat because they were wonderful and they were appreciative of us being there, and that we're still vertical after all these years. So that was just an extra.
Well, Ray Spivey, of course, you're director of Weedhacker Massacre. We'll talk about that. He just chimed into the waiting room here. He should be entering here any minute.
Greg, just to say, Ray actually wrote the script for the movie, and Jody Stelzig is the director.
Oh, Jody is the director. Okay.
Yeah, director, yeah. I met Ray, I guess, a couple of years ago, and he wrote a part for me in a movie that's out now on different platforms called Storage Locker, and that's
okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then I just kicked around some ideas, and he ran with it, and that's what turned out to be the Weedhacker Massacre movie. And we had a table read yesterday here in Austin, and just about everyone showed up. I mean, there must have been over 30 people, for this table read. There was no table read for Chainsaw. Not only was there no table read, there wasn't a table. So, we were just getting...
Well, the table was being prepared for a little banquet for Marilyn Burns.
Yeah.
Ray's got to turn his unmute his mic. There we go. He unmuted his mic.
There he is.
Mr.
Spivey, welcome.
He's got to unmute his mic. Yeah, he needs to unmute it. There we go.
All right.
How you do, Ray?
Good, Greg. Good to see you.
Yes.
You live right there on the bay. It's so amazing. What a view.
I wish I lived in Toronto. I love Toronto. I live in Fredericton, New Brunswick, and nobody knows where New Brunswick is. Of the 10 provinces in Canada, I think I heard somewhere that New Brunswick, I think on rankings, was ranking 3 best provinces in Canada. And I'm like, how is that when nobody knows what it is? People know where the East Coast is. They don't know where Atlantic Canada is. It's like, yeah, it's like I don't know what to make of it anymore, and I just can't champion New Brunswick. I just, and people here get angry at me because I prefer Toronto. Yeah, I prefer Toronto. Yeah, that's without saying. But I got Weedhacker Massacre postcard here from Alan at Frightmare in the
Nice.
Falls. So it was interesting. I was at Frightmare and I had posted that the anniversary of the interview I did with Alan in 2019. And when I approached Alan's table, Alan was like, "Hey, I was hoping to connect with you. I was like, I wanted to promote this," and I was more than happy to. I was just telling him that from Texas Chainsaw, Terry McMinn has been a guest on here a couple times. The meat hook victim, Ed Gwynn, the truck driver, and of course, John Dugan, Grandpa himself.
Right.
And we're being joined here. Look at this, Skittles.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
my kitty. This is
All
my
right.
kitty cat. Hi, Skittles. You go talk to the weed hackers and the chainsaws, and you go do that. Kitty says he doesn't need that. He goes after the mice with his own weed hackers.
Got it.
Kitty, I haven't seen you kill anything, Kitty. The stuff that comes out of the treat bag is pre-killed, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you guys have pets?
Now a dog. I had 2 cats not too long ago, and we lost them both. They were litter mates, but our one Sparky was a gray and white version of Skittles.
Oh yeah. Skittles my buddy. He's so happy to see me when I go home. Speaking of which, I should look at the shirt I have on, Alan.
Nice shirt.
Nice.
Yeah. Actually, it's got Terry there in the background, actually, on the meat hook.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. Yep. So anyway, yeah, but I had a lot of fun at Frightmare and I got my Texas Chainsaw Blu-ray well signed here as I was showing that off. And yeah, and I thought it was cool. John Dugan, a special shout out, didn't even charge me, you know. I don't know. He said because he did my podcast. And I'm like, yeah, but the people don't want to hear me, they want to hear you, you know. But he says, well, if you see me in the hotel lobby, you can buy me a beer. So I was in the hotel lobby because I was representing Lisa Langlois from class of 1984 at this is the third time I've represented her at a con. And so we were down there in the hotel lobby and I saw Alan Zinger, not Alan, John Dugan, enjoying a plate of food. I don't know whether he got that from the Texas ranch or not. He might have just got it here. I don't know whether he doggy bagged it. But I said to the waitress, I said, get John Dugan a beer. So she brings a beer over to him, and you see John looking around there, and finally he sees me. Like a thumbs up. He drank it.
That's great. What
Yeah.
company did you get?
I don't remember. I just told the waitress, get him whatever he had there before.
Super.
Yeah, whatever he had there before. I said,
I just wanted to go to because you had mentioned Weedhacker, and as I said, Ray wrote the script, and Jody Stelzig is the director of the movie, and that we had a table read yesterday. And Ray, maybe you want to just tell him a little bit of how that went, because I thought it went pretty well.
Yeah, Greg, I tell you, this film is going so fast. We probably should have had some beers there yesterday, but it's really going great. We had most of the cast there yesterday, the main cast. So we had close to 16, 17 people there. And, it's a dark comedy with some marvelous horror bits in it. And we got lots of laughter in the crowd, in the group. Of course, they had read the script before, but I think it's just to hear it, and Alan is always kidding me about his days during the Chainsaw Massacre that, kind of how primitive it was. But Alan, that was your first table read, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I think he normally will say, like, we didn't even have a table back then, but that's how, you did see the script back then for the original Chainsaw before you joined.
Yes. Yeah, I did. In fact, I read the script, but like I say, it was almost like a blueprint because a lot of things were changed.
Yeah.
A lot of dialogue that just didn't fit me, had to be changed. And they just said, pretty much run with it, Alan. you know, and a lot of the changes that I made extemporaneous, they kept. And I like to think a lot of the funny lines that I came up with, you know, was my own doing.
Yeah. So Greg, when you go to these festivals and everything, I mean, you get to see all your own favorites, don't you?
I do. I've told the story many times, but I'll share it again. I've lived here. I'm 51 years old, so I've lived here in New Brunswick, the unknown province, for all my life, and I had never been outside of it, save for maybe Prince Edward Island. I've never been outside of it ever, and I'd get homesick just going to Moncton or St. John, which is our closest cities. And what happened was when I started doing the podcast in 2015, I used to do these down at the student radio station that I'm affiliated with. The pandemic is what opened things up for Zoom, which is mightily um, mightily works for me. I prefer that, but the thing is that I had Lisa Langlois from class of 1984 and Happy Birthday to Me on here a couple times. And the second interview, like she had just moved back from Los Angeles to Toronto, and she had, because she's from Toronto, and we got talking about travel, and she had asked what was stopping me, and I could list all kinds of reasons, you know, and she made an offer I couldn't refuse. She offered me the chance to assist her at her table at Horrorama in Toronto. And part of me was afraid because it means I had to accept the fact that there's change coming. But another part of me is like, if I don't accept this, because I've known about class of 1984 since the 80s, and I'm like, and I always loved Lisa as Patsy in it. So I was like, I got to do this.
Yeah.
And so I'm the only one in my family who's been on a plane. And
Wow. Oh man.
I'll be frank, it felt like a bus in the sky. I'm actually
Mhm.
surprised how much I enjoyed it. And every year except for 2020, something happened in 2020. I don't know what was that postponed that trip. But every year since 2017, I would go once or twice a year to Toronto, and I've assisted Lisa at two horror-ramas, and last year, or this year, excuse me, Frightmare in the Falls. And last year she got me started on my passport because
Oh yeah.
she wants to do Chiller next year, and I said I'm on board.
Good.
I'm a little nervous about traveling to the States because our airport security is pretty awesome. Um, I don't know what airport security is like in the States. I hope I'm treated well, but I'm open to doing some other cons, and Lisa's helped me a lot in increasing my brand. But it's strange because my first interview was with Tommy Wiseau from The Room, and that was just kind
Awesome.
of, yeah, that
That's
was
great.
kind of by fluke,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it turned into this, and here I am over 700, between 700 and 800 interviews later.
Wow.
And
You know, Greg, your story reminds me of the first movie I was involved in with, it was a Chris Guest movie called Waiting for Guffman. And
oh, you were involved with that? What a
yeah,
great
I did
movie.
the
I just saw that for
oh,
the first time a
really?
few
Oh, that's
months
great.
ago.
Yeah, I did the painting that shows up in the first 5 minutes of the town founder, Blaine Fabian. He's fighting a bear in the museum. So you may want to go back and look at that. And the bear is stepping on his foot. But anyway, you kind of remember, you just saw this, where Fred Willard and Catherine O'Hara play travel agents in Blaine, Missouri. But the funny thing is, they've never been out of Blaine. So I thought that was just a great gag.
Oh, like I knew Christopher Guest from This Is Spinal Tap,
Right.
but we never got Waiting for Guffman here or Best in Show in our theaters. I never got affiliated with those until we got A Mighty Wind here.
Okay.
And I got such a kick out of Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara in that movie. I was like, okay, what else has Christopher Guest done as a filmmaker? And So I saw Waiting for Guffman recently, and I really enjoyed it.
Did you see Best of Show yet?
Not yet, but I'm going
Oh,
to.
yeah. You've got to see that. That may be the best one of those. But yeah, in fact, we actually have some Spinal Tap references in Weedhacker Massacre, just kind of paying homage to this, and the cast got real big kick out of that. We got several folks that are real big on Spinal Tap, and I think one of the characters is a strange character named Doubly, and of course that's the joke when she says we're going to film the next concert in Dolby, but his girlfriend calls it Doubly, so that's kind of like but yeah, so we're trying to again just honor a lot of these horror movies in Weedhacker, and it's just been fantastic collaborating with Alan, because he's done such a great job of he came up with the ending, which we were just dying laughing about that the other day. And of course, the whole thing is his idea in terms of the main character and everything like that. But we have a really scary villain, and he wears a mask made of playing cards, and he's called Poker Face. And we
Oh, I
just
love that.
yeah, and we just
Did you
designed
get
the
did you
mug
get
the other
the
day.
did you get the rights to the Lady Gaga song for that one?
I think she would have charged us a lot to do it. But fortunately, God, we've had that TV series called Poker Face. And I think Russell Crowe did a movie called Poker Face in 2022 that didn't do very well. But it's a common name. So, it's not something I think they can sue Alan for. They'd sue you, right, Alan?
Yeah,
Not me.
unfortunately, I think so.
I was going to ask, backtracking a bit, you mentioned you had a painting in Waiting for Guffman. Is that part of your background? Are you like a painter, or is that what led you? Give us a little bit, because I know a bit of Alan's background from having him on here before. Give us a little bit of your background. What led you to get into the business, and in addition, the painting part?
Right. Well, I'm a self-taught artist, and I've been painting since about 95. In fact, I fibbed to the Guffman people. They asked me if I could do this portrait, and I had never done a portrait before. So it was kind of like I had to turn it around in 10 days. So I'm so proud that I was able to do that, and I got to meet Chris on set and everything, and then went to the premiere a few months later. Met Fred Willard. That was just such a joy. But
Hilarious.
then I was kind of out of film for a while. I worked in state government here for a long time, and then for the retired teachers. And along came and I did do a documentary about one of our landmarks in Austin, Texas. We are the last place in the world that still has these moonlight towers that were built in 1895. You guys probably had them in Toronto or everywhere else. They were in London. But over time, they've fallen, and Austin, because of weird, quirky circumstances, has it. So in the Dazed and Confused movie with Matthew
Yep.
McConaughey, Party at the Moon Tower, that's
Mhm.
what they climb, although it's not a real moon tower. They were on like some fake radio tower. So I did a couple documentaries, got into some features, and then the last year we turned out Storage Locker, and Alan and I met. We just hit it off immediately, and Alan, that was your first one, right? And all that time since Chainsaw.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. How was it being on set?
It was my first time in, I guess, almost 50 years. And at the end, they gave me a standing ovation, I guess maybe because I got through it, you know. But Ray was very, very kind and generous, and they had to do cuts and whatever and reshoot me several times. But it was a lot of fun.
And I think what got you on the set was you were playing this kind of Godfather character, and you had these two lovely, lovely daughters. So that was your incentive?
That was very much my incentive. Yeah. Not that I could do anything at this age. I have to start the girls I have to tell them to start without me. That's how bad it is.
Alan, where have you been for 50 years besides nursing a massive headache?
Uh, well, I was doing. I mean, back then in Chainsaw days, I was doing social work. I was working with kids that had mental challenges, and I did that for about 10 years. Then I started my own entertainment company called the Three Ring Service, and we started doing things like singing telegrams and then we, expanded into clowns and jugglers, and then casino parties, and then festivals. In fact, I was asked to get an elephant for Willie Nelson.
Oh,
And
nice.
we did it. I mean, they thought that I had him in a townhouse in the back, but no, we got the elephant from Cut and Shoot, Texas. So I've had a kind of a varied degree, multitude of things. I had a bed and breakfast in Luling, Texas, and so I've done a lot of things. And then I met Ray, and through his ways, he convinced me to take a part in this movie Storage Locker, and that's led to I've done the voiceover for another movie that's about to come out called Cannibal Comedian, and that's about a cannibal that goes into stand-up comedy when he's not killing and eating people. So it's from the gamut, and now I'm actually producing the movie The Weedhacker Massacre. And actually, if people want to help out, they can go to theweedhackermovie.com, and there's a number of ways that people can help contribute to make my dream come true, as I am coming to the coda of life.
Yeah, and Greg, what's kind of cool about this? He's acting in the movie too, but it's just not just a little acting part. This is his first action role. He is actually going to be in kind of a fight scene, so he's just not going to be quite the victim he was in Chainsaw.
Oh, he's always a victim.
Every other thing that I do.
What's that?
I mean, I end up getting killed in everything that I do. So this is a nice change of pace, that I'm actually a bit of a hero.
I just brought it up here, the Weedhacker Massacre. Ray Ray, I got a joke about this. Are you related to Dan Spivey, the wrestler?
No, I told my wife when we got married, everybody's going to know a Spivey, at least one, but none of us are ever related. And then a few months later, somebody said, "Do you know a Ray Spivey?" And she was related by marriage.
Did she say, unfortunately, yes?
Yeah, probably did. Probably said it a number of times in 22 years, you bet.
Yep, I'm looking at the cast on here. Got a lot of lovely women on here.
They flock to us because of Alan. You wouldn't believe how many actresses and actors that are so good looking we got to turn away, but they just want to be in this film with Alan, right, Alan?
If you say so, I'll have to buy that.
Okay, good.
I'll buy that.
Okay, well, what is give us the premise of Weedhacker Massacre?
Sure. Young man by the name of Willie Wonder, and Alan and I
played by Alan, right?
No, it's actually it's kind of younger Alan, actually, in a funny sort of way. But Willie gets the wonderful task of driving this big, ugly 1977 Ford station wagon that's painted like the Yellow Submarine. And somehow we haven't quite figured out the logistics of this. He's packing 13 co-eds in this to go to the Earth Wind Festival in Red Eye, Texas, which had been the illegal weed capital of Texas. And when they get there, the founders or the creators of the festival have ripped the town off and have disappeared with all their money and everything. And our kids get there, and it doesn't go well that night because the town wants some revenge. And so a lot of folks end up getting killed. Willie survives, and 10 years later, he has amnesia, and he's trying to figure out what all is going on. But all this time, the one that he's been surviving with has kind of been his buddy, is this big lug of a killer who wears a mask made of playing cards named Poker Face. And they have a very unusual bond.
Okay, that actually sounds really interesting. It's like a cross between Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the Funhouse.
Well, Alan said that I had written it. It was really like of Mice and Men, with Lenny and George, that old Steinbeck story. But
I'll take that. Yep,
it's a lot funnier. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And
yeah, Alan.
The ending at the very end. I'm not going to give it away, but it's going to be quite interesting at the very end.
Okay. Yeah, I met Alan and a bunch of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre folks at Frightmare in the Falls, and he gave me this. And, oh, I got your CD here too, Alan.
The
Wonderful.
Ballad of Chainsaw Jerry.
Actually, it's probably in my Frightmare in the Falls bag here. Good thing I had that sitting right nearby, so I could, because I did a haul video. Yeah, got it right here.
And it's interesting because the fellow that wrote that song, Greg, his name is Britton Buchanan. And I think I mentioned he was runner up on The Voice a few years ago. And he's actually, I think, has a pivotal role in this new movie because he's writing the music for it and will be on screen if everything goes well, goes right. Britton will be there.
Yeah, here it is.
Oh, wonderful.
The Ballad of Chainsaw Jerry. Um, Jerry, talk me up about this. I haven't listened to it. I don't have a CD player here, but we do down at the station. So, but talk me up on this.
Well, he's actually taken my whole life and encapsulated it into a 3-minute song, which is not easy to do. And it's quite funny. And he performed it live at the Pecan Street Festival about a year or so ago. And people seem to like it. I hope you haven't heard it yet. I take it.
Nope, nope. I haven't been down at the station to do my live show, so I've been able to listen to it. But nonetheless, I do have it here. So,
Cool.
The
yep.
ending is just be glad you're not Chainsaw Jerry. That's the ending.
Well, it's a heck of a haunting tune. I was blown away when I heard it and when I met Britton. And of course, Britton's going to act as well as sing in our movie. And there's a kind of a comedic part where Britton's going to write a song for us, and it's kind of that so many bodies keep showing up at this certain place that a certain character has to kind of keep hiding them and removing them. And Britton's going to write the music and sing a song while this montage is going on. It's going to be funny, and I think his music is just outstanding.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, you get a big boy, you get a big cast, and like I say, I'm seeing all these lovely females. I'll have to ask you about some of these, you know.
Well, tell him about the lead actress Molly, because she's right. She hasn't acted before, isn't that right, Greg?
Yeah, she looks stunning with her blonde hair. Yeah, tell me about this woman.
Yeah, Molly, I've known her for a number of years, and she acted a small part in Storage Locker as the
Hmm.
boss of the hero who was kind of giving him, uh, stuff on the job. And everybody said, "Oh, she should have been in the movie a lot more," but I didn't have any idea what her abilities were. And after we shot the scene, I was stunned, and I said, "Molly, did you do something like theater in high school or something?" And she said she hadn't. She's just got the acting chops. It's unbelievable. She is stunning. But she's got a great sense of humor. And so when we were thinking about casting this role of the lead female, nobody came to mind but Molly. And boy, at the table read, she knocked us all out yesterday. She was so funny, did a great job, and I can't wait for the world to see her, or at least Toronto and Canada to see her act, because she's terrific.
What about David? He's excellent too.
He's not too good looking. He's okay, but he's
Looks
not
like a
Molly.
young version of me. So yeah, he is good looking.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, David Trevino, watch out for him and Molly in the future, because they have huge career ahead of them, we believe. David's actually finishing up on a movie he's been working on for 6 months right now, but I've never seen anybody with that young to have the comedic timing that he does. He's one of the lead characters in Storage Locker, and there were times like we got him in a graveyard scene in Storage Locker. He has to help his buddy retrieve a body out of the hole. And David had us all in tears on the set, because he never knew what he was going to do from take to take in terms of not wanting anything to do with this retrieval of bodies. I think they call it grave robbers. But yeah, he's fantastic. And the rest of the cast is amazing too. Bobby Grace has been in Fear the Walking Dead. Mike Gassaway's an older actor, although he started recently. He's going to be doing some stunts with Sylvester Stallone in a new movie he's getting ready to do. I think it's called Unarmored or something like that. Mike does a lot of roles in different movies and everything like that. And then of course Alan's friend Parrish Randall, who's a horror favorite, is going to be playing an amazing character. Alan, what'd you think of Parrish as Digger yesterday?
Dynamite. He was terrific. Absolutely. Yeah.
It was like we wrote the part, and there was Parrish walks in. We're like, holy cow! Don't change anything about yourself, not the way you look or anything. You're perfect for the role.
Like he walked off the screen for this
Yeah.
part. I mean, that's how good he is. Will be.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. You got a lot of interesting faces here. So yeah, I hope this movie takes off.
Well, our fan
So
support has been really picking up full steam here, and we haven't even shot the movie yet, and so that's been amazing. Some of these other folks, though, are people you've seen in a lot of movies, like Skeeter Jenkins. He's going to play the mayor of Red Eye, and you've seen him in a lot of roles in a lot of different indie and other productions. But he's kind of a name that more people are kind of associating the name with the face and everything. But yeah, it's a marvelous cast, and every one of them is as nice as they are talented. They're really a great group of people to work with.
And Greg,
okay.
we're trying to get somebody. I can't mention right now, but we're hoping to even land someone else that would be an excellent addition to this movie. So,
right, we're trying to get two more actors who will play female villains, and we're targeting them, and hopefully we'll get some good news and be able to announce that soon. But they're folks that have been prominent in other horror movies.
Well, I'm sure John Dugan will say yes if you just get him the right clothes.
Or beer, right? Well, Alan, did you get John a beer, and has he agreed?
yeah, he's agreed to it.
Right. So he's going to actually play you're the sheriff, and John is going to be your deputy, right?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought John was going to be one of the female villains.
All right.
We have to go to Denmark, Greg.
Yeah. We're in Texas, Greg. That doesn't work here.
Well, talk about the role that Molly is going to have, because you had mentioned her, and she is kind of leaping out at me on the screen here.
Okay. Well, 10 years ago, she happened to be the unlucky person who was there at the festival. And to hide away from all the killers, she slid into a half-dug grave and covered herself up for 5 days while all the killers were looking for her. So when she got out, kind of blew her wiring. And so she's been spending the last 10 years in the Pecos State Mental Institution. And she's back in town because she has a very unscrupulous doctor who's bringing her back for kind of the shock therapy, so she can help her memories by kind of reliving this and everything. And the guy, our friend Mr. Tep Than's playing him, and Tep wanted the name Dr. Wu, and we've just been dying laughing about that. That's the old Steely Dan song from the 70s. And in addition, that the kids kind of know it now from this cartoon called JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. And Dr. Wu happens to be one of the stands or a power in that. So we're just cracking up with the choice of the name Dr. Wu. But so Molly's under his care, and it turns out it takes her a while to figure out that the care comes at a cost, and it's not the care she really needs. Then she gets more involved with the plot at the end, and she is definitely one of the heroines of the movie.
Okay. Awesome. So you guys haven't shot it yet. So when is this happening? And what preparations so far, other than the table read, have you made?
We shot a trailer.
Okay.
We did some edits, and we got a second trailer, and then we're going to shoot a third trailer Tuesday. And this will be the shortest one of all, but it's just to kind of give folks a better look at the film from different angles, the comedy part, the horror part, and everything. And as you can imagine, it's always a difficulty for anybody that dares to do the comedy with the horror, is how do you get that balance exactly right? So we're going to shoot these trailers and everything. Then we are rewriting the script to kind of do some cleanup here. Alan's got several screenwriter friends that are going to look it over. I do too. And so then comes the big scrub, and then we'll lock it down. Then comes the location. Hopefully we'll lock in the two actresses we were talking about and get ready. And we got March is not that far away. And one of the things we could give ourselves more time by shooting in the summer, but Alan's told me this story so many times about what happened at Chainsaw, why that's not a good idea.
Yeah, I read. I got a book here on the making of Chainsaw, and I've heard all about, especially Gunnar Hansen, being under all that. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Alan,
And
you were there for the smaller part of the movie, but weren't you dying as well in the 100-degree weather?
Oh yeah, but I mean, I was dying in the van, because it's like 115 degrees, and there's no air conditioning. The windows are closed. Toby's there. You got lights. He's got a cigar going. So it was brutal. And then the people that were in the house, that was even worse, because they had to smell rotting food, rotting bones, and they had to smell Gunner. And you didn't want to have to smell Gunner, after 3 weeks or whatever, wearing that same costume. I mean, people were passing out. So it was a difficult shoot.
But you told me probably a couple of weeks ago, you figured out a way you could get some cooling. You snuck into someone.
Yeah, that's true. After several takes, the girls would go into the trailer. There was a trailer. It was a funky trailer, but it did have air conditioning, and Dottie Pearl, the makeup person, was inside. And so the girls would go in there, they get their hair, fixed up, they get the makeup and everything. And I'm watching this, and I said, well, hey, this might be my chance, to slip away and go into the trailer and see what they, how they can, fix me up, make me look a little better. But the fact is, no sooner did I slip out and go into the trailer and sat down, they came running over to me and said, Alan, there's nothing we can do for you. So it's best that you just get out of here, get back into the van.
oh wow,
That was my situation with the trailer. I never went back.
I just remember stories of Marilyn Burns, and I know that I forget the name of the guy that was beating her with the broom.
Jim Seedal.
Jim Seedal. Yeah. I guess he was very apologetic. Didn't want to actually hurt her, but I also remember I'm like, man, she's a trooper. The rag they stuck in her mouth was dirty.
Oh gosh.
It was awful. And even though she didn't even have to be in that scene, because you don't see her, but to make it, this is in the 70s, so it's everything that you can possibly do to this girl. I mean, she wasn't the same after the movie was over.
No.
That movie literally destroyed her. But she was that trooper, and she kept begging Jim. She said, we'll be here forever. You got to start hitting me. And so you see, he starts getting into it. He didn't want to, but he got into it. And that's why I think this movie is it works, because it's just so believable. It's almost like a documentary, the way it's shot.
Yeah. So is Molly gonna have a clean rag? Store bought.
We just found out yesterday that Molly has 2 black belts. So I don't think anybody's gonna try to mess with her.
Black belts in what? Black belts
Karate.
Oh, karate. Okay.
Oh, wow. I thought you meant she was making a fashion statement.
Yeah.
No, she can probably make a fashion statement on your head, but yeah. She's pretty talented.
There you go. Well, we do want to see whether she's as good a screamer as Marilyn, though. There is going to be that comparison.
Sure, that's a good point.
Yeah,
I've heard her belt it out. She's good.
It's now. Is she gonna get the tester karate against somebody's broom?
Not the broom, but we did talk yesterday about rewriting a little bit so she can actually throw a punch or something. That she said she hasn't done it in a couple of years, but she said if she practiced and started practicing now, she could actually do a leg kick pretty high. So
yeah,
so that might be kind of cool to see that. So we're gonna be in negotiations about that.
There
Kind
you
of like
go.
Bruce Lee. Could be a Bruce Lee type of thing going.
That's right.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, I going back to Texas Chainsaw, you know, I could make the joke to Alan and William about, you know, this would have been a great opportunity for Advil or Tylenol to approach you guys for a bunch of commercials after after that movie.
That's right.
That's a great idea. I'm surprised that they didn't.
Because you two both went the same way.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do you do you have any memory? Like I remember when Terry McMinn, you know, she did, of course, the meat hook scene, and there's this great moment where she goes in, she topples onto the floor, and you get all the bones and everything. And do you have any memories of that? I shouldn't say set, but you get what I'm talking about.
Well, I think for me is and I've mentioned this in other talks that I've given. I had not seen Leatherface in his costume prior to my death, and to make it even more real, I just had them blindfold me, and I sat out on the porch until they were ready to yell action. So I was completely blindfolded, and I was, pretty much worked up into a lather, which I had mentioned to Ray was my nod to the Stanislavski method, which I didn't even know what that was, but I liked the name. So when they yelled action, and then I go into the house through the vestibule into the kitchen, I see the hook, and then I see the refrigerator that opens. She pops out, and then a Leatherface comes tearing into the kitchen. Well, no sooner did I see him where I go screaming out of the house, and I'm down maybe a quarter mile, and Toby's yelling, "Cut, cut, Alan, come back!" And he puts his arm around me, and he said, "Alan, that's one of the best screams I could ever hear, but you got to wait to come into the shot with the hammer." They had to do it about 3 or 4 times. I was still so freaked out that two of the grips got behind me and pulled me down, by my belt loops as the hammer, was coming down. And you're right, because I should be approached by Advil, because it's 50 years later and I'm still getting headaches. So it wasn't an easy shoot.
Talk about Terry in the freezer.
Talk about her. I don't want to talk about her in the freezer. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, she talked a little bit about that, but that freezer that could have helped with the weather conditions.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
Well, I'd be honest with you, Alan, Greg, would they have wired that for coolness, or was she? Do you know if she was just there in the hot box?
I think she was there in the hot box,
oh
Golly.
my.
and I think they blew smoke or what. I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah. If you were any way claustrophobic, that's not the place you wanted to be.
And I bet it was just hot as
It was
hell.
awful. It was awful. The whole thing was awful.
Yeah.
But it got the desired effect. It works on screen. On screen.
Yeah, Dan, I don't know what your schedule is like, but you should have came to Frightmare with Alan.
I have been working on this movie. I barely get to see anybody. Actually, today's my birthday, and I
Happy
would not
birthday,
miss this
man.
for you. Thank you. But
Happy 50th, Ray. Happy 50th.
hey, thanks. It's good to be 50 again,
You're
right?
you're 50, I'm
I'm not 50.
51.
I'm actually older than that. He's being kind. But yeah, I just right after this, I need to take my wife out for dinner. But it's we've just been really busy with this.
Wait for dinner, it's your birthday.
Well, she'll take me. I'll slip the bill to her. How about that? And I'll get that beer. I want that beer. But she's been great about all this. But we have really worked hard on this. And the other day I was talking to Jody, our director, and we were just kind of saying, it's a shame that at the end of March the shooting and all this will come to an end, because we've had so much fun bouncing these ideas back and forth and trying to get the story crafted. I mean, we just laugh all the time. So it's been a great experience.
Well, you know what the answer to that is? You guys brainstorm another movie idea.
Well, Alan, are you pushing us for a sequel?
I'm always pushing for a sequel.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. And then the sequel we'll have we'll put Molly in a superhero outfit, and then she could really fly around and kick.
Well, maybe we'll get you down there in the cast, and she might like hit you with a couple karate blows or something.
I think I'd like that.
All right, we're getting weird. Let's back up.
Yeah. Actually, I have never been to the States. I don't that's baby steps on me on that one. But
I mean, but you've never even crossed the border, right? Because you don't have a
not that
passport.
I know of. Now,
Wow.
if my folks did it at a time when I'm not recollecting it,
Yeah.
then that's another thing, you know. I mean, who knows? Because I know they have. Whether I was with them, that's something I blocked out. I remember some like I would have been 2 years old when Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out, so in '74. So I remember some stuff in the '70s, but I remember a lot more in the '80s because I
Right.
grew up in the '80s. And but I definitely have some memories of the '70s. You know, I spent my first 7 years in the '70s, so.
Greg, have you seen Toby's first movie? That's how I got into Chainsaw. It's called Eggshells, and I think you can see it now on YouTube. So you can see the technical wizardry of Toby early on in that movie.
It's interesting with Toby because I always felt bad that because he went on to do Poltergeist,
Right.
and yet so many people are calling it more a Spielberg film than a Hooper film, and I always kind of felt bad for Toby Hooper on that front, you know,
Well, he had
because
some other issues. He had some other issues, unfortunately, that he dealt with, and that's what I heard. That on that movie, there was some problems, and I think Steven Spielberg may have had to do more than he would have normally done.
yeah, because I know Spielberg contractually he was doing E.T., so he couldn't do both films, you know, but there's rumors and innuendo about Spielberg shooting more of the film than Hooper, and I'm like, I feel bad hearing that because I mean Toby Hooper was definitely a mainstay for horror movies. You know, he did the Funhouse as well, you know, which I also enjoyed, and you know, Life Force, and you know, Eaten Alive, which you know he brought back Marilyn Burns for more or torture and that. Oh, that poor woman, she come back again for more.
He directed the second Chainsaw. I think the one with Dennis Hopper. I think Toby did that.
Yeah.
Did he? Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was really cool they brought Dennis Hopper into that movie. How and Caroline Williams there waving that chainsaw there at the to the film. But nonetheless, I don't want to get off topic, but Alan, any highlights from Frightmare in the Falls this past weekend?
I think the Q&A that we did, where it was just standing room only, you know, to have this many people and you know young people come in and want to watch four geezers at this point, you know, kind of banter and tell their stories. We were all taken aback, and it was just great. I was grateful that fans still want to talk to us at this time.
I got a question now. That just reminds me. Did Chris Cooper from Blood Opera lead that Q&A?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm
Just know his
trying to.
first name, so I don't know what his
Did
last
he
name.
have a head, is a skinny guy, bald head with tattoo on his head?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think, yeah, from he's in a band called Blood Opera. I met them through Lisa. They
Yeah,
were
right. Because
performing it.
somebody else mentioned that. Yeah, I don't know what that band is, but he had. I don't know what he had, but he had something on his head. Tattoo.
Yeah. Oh, great guy. I think I saw a photo on Facebook of that. I met them through Lisa, and they performed at the after party. Them and Ari Lehman from Friday the 13th, and so I think I saw a photo online where he conducted that Q&A. That must have been something for him because he wasn't even alive when that movie came out. I was 15 the year he was born.
I don't think anybody was alive when that movie. As I
I
say,
was
I'm so
alive.
old that Lincoln celebrated my birthday. That's how far back we go.
That's how far back we go. But yeah, the Q&A. I was at one Q&A. I went up with Lisa during hers, but I spent most of my time at her table. But was there anything really unique and interesting that you were approached to sign? I always ask that, and I might have asked you that when I had you on last time. But even this past weekend, was there anything unique that was brought to your table?
I wouldn't say unique, but you get the full assortment, of shirts and posters and some really unique posters and unique pieces of art. Plus, the blades, chainsaw blades and whatnot, and then the costumes that people were walking around in. They were, just it was the whole show was fantastic. It was very well run, very professionally, done. We did photo ops. It was just real smooth, and I had a great time. And the people that they assigned us, the handlers and whatnot, they were all great. So it just made that whole experience. Plus, seeing the falls from my Marriott hotel window, I mean, that was breathtaking.
Yeah,
So it,
yeah,
it
I
gets
was.
4 stars or 5 stars for me.
Oh, yeah, it was beautiful there. Yeah, that was where I saw Alan in the hotel lobby there, or in not hotel lobby, in the bar area, scoffing down some food, and that's where I bought him the beer. It's that funny in Texas Chainsaw, he's got no hair, and now he's got like this mop of hair on his
Kind of
head.
looks a little bit like Yosemite Sam, I think, at this point.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But nonetheless, yes, that was a lot of fun. I had great fun at that. And did you and William come down in the van? Did you pick up Eb Neal on the way?
No, not on this one, but I did have a trip to Houston in the van, and it was quite an adventure. But that's for another podcast.
Well, I thought maybe, I was wondering if you learned your lesson from picking Ed up,
Oh
because,
yeah, I never picked up another hitchhiker after that.
no picking up Ed. He's gonna have to walk it. So what's the first thing on the agenda? You guys got an effects artist for Weed Hackers?
Yeah, we do. We've got one out of San Antonio, and I've been pitched another one out of Austin, and we may need them both because we were talking about one of the first horror gags in the movie, and we hope it's never been done before. It's really complex, and it's going to have to go off like crazy. The Weed Hacker itself, Jody, our director, is a world champ stuntman as well, and he built it. And when we first started doing the first models, the blades, it's kind of a triangular sickle kind of design, as you see on the postcard. And the first model was really kind of, I had traced one out of mat board and then had done it on plywood, real thin plywood. Well, Jody, being the perfectionist he is, goes out and cuts it out of real metal, brings it on the set for our first trailer, and we are all terrified. That thing is sharp. Alan got to handle it, and when he ran it, we're going like, oh God, if there's a slip, we're going to be losing some fingers or something. It was pretty amazing. But Alan, you got to hold it, and I think we got a great picture of you where you kind of got this great look on your face. You're kind of half in awe of it, but I could almost sense like you were a little scared of it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to have some really nifty props in this, and of course, in any of these things, we want to use as close to practical effects as we can. We really don't want to have to lean on post production to get this in, and I think we're going to have the right people to pull this off.
Well, you got a massive cast there, and I gotta wonder, is there a body count in this? And if there is, um, how unique are the kills going to be?
Yeah,
I
very.
know you mentioned the tar thing, and I think, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, they really are, and I think that's the goal that Alan, Jody, and I have had is to try to create some things that we hope haven't been seen anywhere else, and we're still doing some research. It's funny, you think of something, you think it's totally original, nobody's ever thought of this, and you find out, oh, in 1980 there's this little film that nobody saw, and there it is, and you're just like, damn it. But we're also going to be doing a lot of research on this as well. But boy, I haven't counted up the body kills yet, but I'm just guessing we could be over 30. Now, some of these are going to be in a mass scene, you know, but the individual ones will be very unique.
Okay.
The weed
All
hacker
right.
is the weed hacker is the most powerful killing instrument right now, endorsed by killers everywhere. It's a great product.
Well, Jason used one in Friday the 13th Part 7.
I saw that. I don't think it was it won't be like ours. I did catch that, and it was good, but trust me, when you see these blades spinning and everything, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So you got Alan, you got a couple of females in the business you're looking for, and you don't have to give them away. How are the talks in that going?
Really well. Alan, you've been doing most of the conventions, right? And when you bring this up, you're getting good response, aren't you?
Good response. Yeah, people they think the movie's out already. They want to go ahead and see it. So that's the kind of buzz that's going on. So like I say, hopefully we'll be starting to shoot in March, and it'll just be moving as quickly as possible after that.
That's right.
And then are you guys going to do the con circuit to promote it?
Alan loves the conventions. Can't keep him away. He's great at it.
Oh, I love them too. I got addicted. Yes.
Yeah. But we plan on submitting this to everyone we can, and I think we'll be touring the United States. We definitely want to bring several of our actors. Some of the new ones have never done this before, and I know it'll be such a thrill for them. Then as well, in our Kickstarter, at certain levels, you can have some tickets and join us at a film festival. And I think that'll be a big thrill to be there with Alan and the crew.
Okay. Okay. Well, that is great. Well, I'm glad that you were able to connect and be able to make this. And like I said, I love the title Weedhacker Massacre, you know. It's like an upgrade from the chainsaw, you know, it's weed hackers.
Right.
Greg, I appreciate you having us, to talk about that and about our project. So thank you very much for having Ray and myself. We really appreciate it.
Oh, you know what? It was a pleasure and honor. Like I appreciate it when I came to your table that you brought this up, you know, and able to make this work. And any of the other cast and crew that you guys want to send my way,
Okay.
I'm open to it.
We'll be in touch. That sounds great. Thank you, Greg. It's very generous.
Yeah, I definitely love to have Molly on.
I could tell. And we might have to get a restraining order, but yeah, we'll talk to Molly about that.
And let us know when this is going to air, if you would, Greg, so we can.
Well, you know what? I'll send the link to you. It'll be unlisted for a while, but you guys will be allowed to post it wherever you want.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. I always allow them to do that. I learned through my former station manager had told me, she said, when I started doing these in 2015, she said, don't post them right away. Save some for a rainy day.
Yeah.
Well, so I would put so many out live a month. And the rainy day, the pandemic turned out to be the rainy day.
Oh, yeah.
Because when the station went into lockdown, I had about 30 people waiting to come on my show, including Nancy Allen of all people, you know. And I was like, oh man, what do I do? It was Nancy McLaughlin from Friday the 13th Part 6 Jason Lives that introduced me to Zoom. And this has helped a lot. But whenever we went into lockdown, I had about 150 interviews in my backlog. So I was able to still, and all the people, those 150 interviews, the guest had them and they were free to post them. So they already had some views, you know? So, but I was able to still put content out while this mess was going on out there in the world, you know? So,
Well,
yeah.
that's great, Greg. So just let us know when we can see it.
Well, you know what? I appreciate meeting you and at Frightmare in the Falls, Alan, and meeting the others from Texas Chainsaw. I did not recognize Ed Neal at first. He's got that Dr. Hook look going for him right now. But
I was gonna say Ray's got. I know it's his birthday, so I know he wants to be able to get his wife right. And
Well, yeah, we're gonna probably call Ed up and go to dinner with us, you know, with the look and everything.
well, Alan, aren't you
We'll get a
going to
good
sing
table.
Ray happy birthday?
Oh,
I
don't
can-
do that. Your ratings will go so far down, Greg.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
Well, I don't know. I think it would be a highlight to hear Alan's singing voice.
No, when they went around, in school in the choir, and they said you're an alto, you're a tenor. They said to me, I'm a listener.
All right, so I think we've been spared, Greg. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
God bless you both, folks. Be on the lookout for Weedhacker Massacre. Will that be released next year?
It's going to be tight, because we got all the
Okay.
post-production but my guess is by the fall, you'll see us at some film festivals, and we hope to be at one near you.
You know what? That would be great. That would be absolutely fantastic. And I'll have you both back on next year to further promote it.
Great.
Thanks a lot, Greg. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Well, God bless you both. Thank you for coming on here, and thank you for the honor.
Well, honor's ours. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Take care. Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.